You guys wanted a roadmap? I don't know. Maybe you didn't. Maybe it was like one person. And I'm like, oh, someone wants a roadmap, but whatever. I'm doing a roadmap. I mean, I guess I want your input. So I will get into kind of what I've done so far with everything. I mean, obviously you can go back through the videos and look. Kind of worked on basically the character customization. I've done that in 5.2. I've got the city sample integrated in. I think that's in 5.2 as well. I've done fall damage, the forward facing versus strafing along with the hip fire ability. I've got team damage. I've done a lean video, swapping the shoulders, kind of a left-handed character. It's not 100%, but there'd probably be some C++ programming I'd have to do to make it a true left-handed character. I mean, if you guys want to see that, let me know. Um, I've got then dropping weapons, select fire ability, which will, when I go to kind of gun customization, we'll get more into that one, or we'll use that one, I guess. But I've got really just an intro into the hand-to-hand combat. I'm gonna have to get into that one a little bit more. I'll do that later in the video. I've got the body armor component. I'll go into adding visuals for how that works with, plate carriers, helmets, things like that. Blood effects, kind of removing then the effects so that's a straight ragdoll. I noticed there's some glitching on that one. I noticed in one of my previous videos, but I'll have to go back and take a look at that, see if I can clean that one up a little bit. And then I've got the mini map, which I'll have to integrate into kind of a phone ability. I guess it would be similar to what, like Cyberpunk, I guess. And then grenades as inventory. I think I've done some other videos kind of here and there in the meantime. But that's really kind of the basics of what I've done so far. So getting then into the future, what stuff's going to look like. I figure the next video that I will work on will be kind of a down and revive system. I don't know if that one's going to just be I don't know if that one's going to be a standalone video. I might make that into a couple, or I don't know, maybe we'll see. We'll see how that one goes. To be honest, I haven't even programmed that one yet. A lot of the stuff I haven't even programmed. So if, I mean, you guys want to see any particular videos, I know a few people have asked about the aim down sights. Let me know where you guys think that is, where it should be. The next one I'm gonna do is teammate commands, just kind of some basic commands, getting your teammates to follow you, maybe move on checkpoints, things like that. To be honest, I will look at, I guess, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, kind of see what some of the commands are on there. If there's any other video games that you guys know of where they have teammate commands and you want me to check those out, kind of do something similar to that, let me know. I'm totally open for that. So I do have a surprise mechanic that I think is really cool. I don't want to ruin it. It's going to come after the teammate commands. So wherever I guess that one is, if you want me to move the ADS up or anything like that. Then I've got the ADS, right? That one is definitely going to be a multi-part because that one is going to be something that I want to do not just aiming down the sights with the iron sights, aiming down the sights with the red dot, throwing on like a low power, I always forget what it's called, the LPVO, low power variable optics, and then maybe throwing like an RMR on a 45. I thought that would be really cool to do something like that. So yes, I will get to that one. As you can see, it's coming. I'm going to then get into a prone state. I mean, I always thought supine shooting was kind of cool too, so I will have to play with that. To be honest, though, I'm gonna have to purchase animations. I might look at Mixamo, see how well those work, and I don't know. I might look at the Gasp, game gameplay animation sample project. Yeah, the Gasp. And just whatever GASP. But and then what's the other one? I think there's another one that is kind of free out there with some animations. But I'll look at purchasing stuff too. And then I'm gonna get into some parkour elements just because I think that's awesome. I think chasing people is kind of, I don't know, in all the like spy movies, right? There's always a chase scene. So I definitely want to add some parkour elements into that one. To be honest, I haven't looked into how I'm gonna do that. I think I've purchased some animations in the past that I still have, but I don't know if I'm going to purchase something and then just integrate it into Lyra, or if I'll build something totally out from, I think, what's the motion warping, or who knows? I mean, I will have to look at the gasp on that one as well, see where things land on that. And then I'm going to get into a cover system, right? So being able to take cover behind things, then when you aim, you pop out, things like that. That one, again, 100%, I'm going to have to look at purchasing animations, and I will have to, I'll have to see. I know there's some pre-built stuff out there, and either, I mean, if I'm purchasing stuff anyways, I'll have to look at I don't know, what's better, faster, I guess, and then kind of go from there. Obviously, I'll let you guys know, keep you updated on any of those. I mean, if there's parkour elements that you guys have seen that are on what is it, Fab's new store or whatever, and you want to see integrated in, hit me up in the comments. I will do that. The next one then is takedowns, right? So stealth takedowns or just executions in hand-to-hand combat, things like that. I will get into grappling. You do get into with the IK, the feet IK. It is a pain. I have played around with that a little bit when I was working on the hand-to-hand combat system, but I will definitely go more into it. But that is going to be further down the road. So then again, anything else that you guys want to see, just let me know in the comments below, and we can discuss and figure that out. Looking ahead then, so after kind of that core mechanics phase, we get into a customization phase, right? So we'll kind of get into the player identity and customizing them and how that'll all work in the game. I might just do an update on the 5.2, might migrate some of that stuff over, but I might look at mutable characters, right? So look at, I don't know how that works. I've got the gameplay, or not the gameplay, sorry. I've got the sample downloaded. I've played with it a little bit, but not too much. Have not even worked on integrating it into Lyra, but will definitely do that. Teammates, same thing. That one's going to probably be separate because I'll have to do some spawn logic on how to make sure that those characters carry over. Might do something in the game state or something like that. I don't know. To be honest, again, I haven't worked on the programming on that. And then weapon customization. That one is a pain. That one's going to be expensive on my end. All of the guns that I want to include, it's going to add up on price for me. So we'll see. Then getting into the next one is the world building phase. So this one might be an update on, again, kind of integrating that city sample that I've done in the past. And then I do want to do a day-night cycle. I think I did play with that originally on the city sample, but again, probably in like 5.2. I think I did a lot of stuff in 5.2 before I updated to 5.6, but I will work on that. And then interiors. Don't want to go into too much detail on doing that. I've got some cool stuff that I want to do for the civilians. I don't want to call them NPCs because not all the NPCs in the game are going to be civilians, but definitely doing civilians. Obviously, then I'm going to have to modify some vehicles in Lyra. And then finally, motorcycles. I love motorcycles. I just think they're the coolest thing in the world. So I definitely have to implement motorcycles in the game. The next one, moving on, is going to be working on the AI. So I'm going to work on, again, I'll get into this in a second, but other operators versus just kind of, thugs, the bad guys, the cannon fodder. And then obviously civilians, AI, work on those. And then stealth stuff, stealth, stealth and more, I guess. I've got some cool mechanics that I'm looking at implementing and doing some cool stuff in there that will make it cool. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail on some of the things that are further out just because I want those to be a surprise, and we'll work on those in the future. The next phase then is going to be the game phase, kind of building out the game modes. So I'll work on an open world mission systems, like I mentioned before with the mini map, building out kind of a cell phone mechanic, spawning vehicles, things like that. Again, kind of like Cyberpunk, and then load out an RPG elements. I have some thoughts. I'm not a huge fan of a ton of RPG stuff, like in what was it, Tom Clancy's, not the unit, the Division. So I don't like mag dumping an entire magazine into someone and them not dying. It's not realistic. But there are some cool RPG elements that I want to look at as far as stamina, stuff like that. So I'll kind of get into a little bit more detail when I actually do the next video on Down and Revive and kind of how some of that stuff will play into effect. And then I've got a whole bunch of other ideas and concepts that, I've got. Obviously, this is not my roadmap. I kind of keep that. I've got a Google Drive and a Jira board, and I've got it in a million different places. So I've got quite a bit more to come. And then I've got moving on to the lore phase, kind of getting into, I guess, the world building aspect of it, right? Like who or what is Carbon Group, other factions, how those are going to play into the game, stories for some of the missions, and a lot more things. I have a whole bunch of really cool stuff that I want to do. I want to share with you guys, kind of get your thoughts, feedback, input on those, see if you guys like it, things like that. The next one is kind of getting into the polish, right? So once I mean, those are going to be most of all of the game mechanics. Kind of getting the game ready to go. Hopefully I'll have some demos and stuff by then. And then kind of based on that, I'm obviously going to get into some cleanup. The UI, obviously I don't want to leave it as Lyra's stock UI. I'll try and make my own. And then obviously I'm gonna to get into more of the hand-to-hand combat improvements, kind of cleaning that up a little bit, adding some more animations, different fighting styles, things like that. Mapping the controls, that's something I'm gonna have to do. Oftentimes I just put I put the ability on something that's open and free and easy to test, but I will have to go through and map the controls and then obviously controller as well. And then polishing up kind of the AI and then look at making it stable for updates to the engine version. I know I modify some of the base code in Lyra, which is a big no-no. But I'm a bad programmer and I suck. I don't know, I do. But I mean, I've been pretty good at being able to update stuff, so we'll see. And then I've got again, I've got a ton more features that I want to do. Like I thought it'd be really cool to like remote hack mines and stuff like that. And there's all sorts of cool stuff that I think would be cool to see in the game. And then I kind of the next one is the future of where the game's going. Obviously packaging it, getting ready to launch it either on Steam, is it Itch.io, whatever whatever that platform is, or even getting it up on. I mean, eventually I'd love to put it on like a PlayStation. I know there's big PlayStation versus Xbox. I have PlayStation. I like the controllers of PlayStation. You can argue merits of what company's better or not. I don't know. I just like the controller on the PlayStation. So, but yeah, just kind of launching it there, and then obviously maintaining servers. There's a huge issue with live streaming games. I don't want to do anything like that. So I'll have to figure out, I don't know, in the future, how to handle that. Just I've run some dedicated servers on Amazon. It gets expensive though. So I built out some games and apps in the past, and it does. It gets kind of expensive. But we'll see. I mean, down the road, we'll see where it goes. Obviously if the game goes up for sale and it's successful and we can maintain servers, or even maybe releasing code for people to build their own servers for multiplayer stuff. And then possibly looking at a sequel, and I mean really just seeing where everything goes in the future. So that's kind of a wrap up of the roadmap, I guess, to see where everything is going. So hopefully that works. Again, if you guys like it, you don't like it, you're like, no, that's awful. You're doing it back ass words or whatever. Again, let me know in the comments if there's anything that you want to see instead, anything that you want to add. I know I've had some requests in the past for like magic and mana abilities and stuff like that. I, it doesn't really fit with this game. If I probably built out like some stamina bar or something like that, I guess it could be used for mana or something like that. So, but again, anything that you guys want to see, just leave it in the comments below. I mean, obviously you can always hit me up on a in email in the DMs, or not DMs. I don't know. I'm not. You know what I mean, I guess. But anyways, that's it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, subscribe, all of those things or not. But I will see you guys next time.